Hello everyone, welcome back to Jikook Moments. What if the simplest moments actually hold the hardest details to explain? From the way they choose their rooms, to small interactions that almost go unnoticed, to coincidences that feel a little too aligned, the latest Run BTS trailer feels like more than just ordinary togetherness. There are subtle patterns that keep appearing without ever being highlighted directly. And the more you pay attention, the more it feels like something isn't entirely random. In this video, we're going to break down those details, from the direction of Jungkook's attention, to the small dynamics with Jimin, to symbols that may seem trivial but actually open up a wide space for interpretation. From the very first second of the trailer, a warm atmosphere is immediately present. The members finally arrive at their accommodation, a place where they will once again live together as seven. There's no big narration or dramatic moment, but that's exactly where its strength lies. The feeling of, "we finally made it," comes naturally, reflected in their expressions, the way they speak, and their light, familiar interactions. Everything feels simple, yet emotionally meaningful. They are back as one team. When the room selection process begins, the focus quickly shifts to Jungkook. He is seen asking who will choose first, gesturing as if suggesting a game of rock, paper, scissors. At a glance, this seems like a normal interaction, but the direction of his attention is interesting. Right in front of him is Jimin, and almost all of Jungkook's focus is directed there. The way he positions his body, his gaze, and his energy feels specific, as if the interaction is more personal, not just part of a group dynamic. Then Jin suggests that the youngest should choose first. At the same time, a visual detail appears that is quite striking yet easy to miss: Jimin and Jungkook's outfits. Jimin wears a combination of blue and brown, while Jungkook appears in a similar palette, blue and brown in slightly darker tones. There's no confirmation that this was intentional, but the matching impression emerges naturally. It doesn't feel staged, but rather like a coincidence that feels a bit too aligned to ignore. The next clip briefly shows the inside of a room. Each room appears to have two beds. Jimin enters one of the rooms, and it's clear that another member is already inside, but their identity is not revealed. The camera only captures the room layout and Jimin's reflection, while the person inside remains hidden. This detail feels incomplete, enough to spark curiosity, but not enough to provide a definite answer. There's also a brief moment where Jungkook seems to be looking for someone. He looks downward, as if checking under a table or toward the floor, possibly through his camera. A few seconds later, he says he's found them. The moment is very quick, almost insignificant, but still leaves the impression that the search was specific, not just a random action. The atmosphere then shifts into something more relaxed and playful. Jungkook and Jin are seen carrying pillows, followed by Jimin, creating the impression of a light-hearted game. But behind that, there's a small pattern that appears consistently. Jungkook doesn't really hit Jimin with the pillow. The more active physical interaction comes from Jin. Even when Jin briefly pushes Jimin, Jungkook immediately reacts by pushing Jin away. His movement feels spontaneous, almost like a reflex. This kind of dynamic isn't new, and interestingly, it continues to appear in the same pattern. In another part of the trailer, the mood becomes calmer. Jungkook and Jin are seen cooking in the kitchen, while in a different moment all the members gather and chat together. Jimin seems to truly enjoy the atmosphere. His expressions are relaxed, he smiles often, and laughs freely. There's no pressure, no formality, just a light and natural sense of togetherness. They are then divided into two teams for a game. One team consists of Jimin, Jungkook, and Jin, while the other includes Hobi, Namjoon, Suga, and Taeyong. This division once again presents an interesting detail. Jungkook ends up on the same team as Jimin. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but if seen as a pattern, it feels consistent, as if they often end up on the same side, whether by choice or naturally. After the game ends, Hobi, Namjoon, Suga, and Taeyong's team appears to lose. There's a brief moment where Jimin, Jungkook, and Jin watch them. Jungkook is holding a ball, but as soon as others' attention shifts, he immediately moves toward Jimin. The movement is quick and spontaneous, without much thought. It's a very short moment, but noticeable for those paying attention to small details. In one interview, Jimin once mentioned their experience in the military. He shared that they participated in a competition together after enlisting. Jungkook ranked first, while Jimin came in second. This isn't just a story, it shows how they continued to share experiences even in an environment very different from their usual world. On the other hand, Jungkook has said that he doesn't tend to hold onto memories for long and easily forgets many things. But when compared to the moments that have been recorded, this statement feels somewhat contradictory. He actually remembers many details, especially those related to Jimin. From their first trip to Tokyo, to the moment Jimin got bitten by a mosquito and felt unwell, to small details like places they visited, restaurants they went to, and even biking experiences together. Even end-of-year stage moments remain clear in his memory. All of this forms a consistent pattern. Among many things that might be forgotten, there are certain details he keeps, and most of them are related to Jimin. From here, a small detail develops into something much more intriguing: the necklace Jimin is wearing. At first, it seems simple. Jimin arrives from Tokyo wearing his chrome hearts necklace. This style strongly represents him, elegant, subtle, yet full of character. He's known for never wearing something without a personal touch. But then an additional detail appears: a pink sapphire stone. September, Libra. It still feels aligned with Jimin's image. However, September also includes Virgo, and this is where interpretations begin to expand. When Virgo enters the context, Jungkook is indirectly drawn into the narrative. Not because of any explicit statement, but because the connection feels fitting to some people. The necklace is no longer just an accessory. It begins to be seen as something that may carry another layer of meaning. From a lighter perspective, there's a sense of duality. On one hand, the necklace clearly represents Jimin. On the other, it subtly opens the possibility of another association. It's not a direct message, but something that exists in a gray area. Details like this are often overlooked, but once noticed, they're hard to ignore. And that's where the appeal lies. This isn't about certainty, but about possibility. Almost like a whisper not meant for everyone. The nuance feels ambiguous, allowing interpretation to remain open without being locked into a single meaning. The fandom picks up on this pattern as well. Once there's a tendency to view Jimin and Jungkook's dynamics through small details, things like this are easily seen as more than coincidence. The question then arises, what if it is intentional? But at the same time, the simplest possibility still exists. Jimin chose the necklace simply because he liked it. No additional meaning. No hidden message. The Virgo detail only expands interpretation. It doesn't confirm anything. And that's where the game lies, not in the answer, but in the space it creates. Because something truly random usually doesn't feel this specific. And here, even if it could be a coincidence, the connections feel aligned enough to spark speculation. As a result, the necklace exists between two meanings. It could be purely aesthetic, or something more personal. Another important aspect is Jimin's awareness of the public. He knows that every detail about him will be analyzed. Whatever he wears is never completely free from attention. This awareness makes even the smallest gestures feel more weighted in interpretation. But amidst all of this, it's important to maintain perspective. Not every detail has a hidden meaning, and not every coincidence is a signal. Sometimes, things are simply what they appear to be. And it's precisely in that space, between meaning and coincidence, that the real fascination emerges. In the end, it all comes back to one thing. This isn't about finding definite answers, but about understanding how small details can feel so meaningful. Are these truly coincidences, or is there a subtle pattern that keeps repeating? As always, it all comes down to how we choose to see it. If you have your own thoughts or noticed other details that might have been missed, feel free to share them in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you in the next Jikook Moments.